Hey Who fans, and welcome to the Big Blue Box podcast. My name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
And we're at episode 147.
147.
One day, I shall come back.
Oh dear, we are in trouble, aren't we?
I've reversed the polarity of the neutron flow, so the TARDIS should be free of the force field now.
I have the advantage of being slightly ahead of you. Sometimes behind you, but normally ahead of you.
But the trouble with time travel is, one never seems to find the time.
Change, my dear. And it seems not a moment too soon.
Unlimited rice pudding, etc., etc.
A meteor storm that the sky above us was dancing with lights. Purple, green, brilliant yellow, yes!
I'm the doctor, by the way. What's your name?
Rose.
Nice to meet you, Rose.
Run for your life.
It's more like a big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
Just remember who's standing in your way.
Look at the eyebrows. These are attack eyebrows. You can take bottle tops off with these.
Howdy do, Who fans. What a week we're having for the weather in the UK.
Oh, scorcher. Scorchio.
Really hot this week.
It is, and it's
We're
baking.
having a bit of a mini heat wave. So some countries, I mean Sammy down under, she's probably, that's not a heat wave.
No.
But it is hot in the UK. I think for June anyways. It's not been this hot for years in this, you know. Normally takes us like until at least mid-July before we start getting some decent weather normally.
It's so funny though, isn't it? Because like we go on holiday to get this sort of heat, and then when we get it, we just moan about it. It's too hot.
That's the Brits, isn't it, through and through? Just whinge and complain when it's hot, and then when it's cold, it's like, I wish it was a heat wave.
I wish I was in Spain. Yeah, I wish I was in. Yeah,
it's all good.
Yeah, it is a trifle hot though.
Trifle hot, yes. Especially when you're recording a podcast, because you're sitting in the conservatory cooking like some sort of boil in the bag job.
The way my house is structured, I'm like in a conservatory, which is basically like a greenhouse. I may as well be in a greenhouse. So I'm sweltering
at the end of the show, because we record our podcasts on Skype, on video as well as audio. And I can just imagine at the end of the show, the colour of your top's just going to be a few shades darker.
Oh, you just see steam coming off my arms. Yeah. Could boil an egg on my head for the minute. It's so hot. Yeah, but we mustn't grumble.
We mustn't
grumble. No, we mustn't scare that lovely sun away. Yeah.
So welcome aboard, new listeners. We've had quite a few the last week.
Oh, hello, new listeners.
Thank you very much for popping up on Twitter and Facebook and saying hello. Very kind words. Really glad that everyone's enjoying the show at the moment. Yeah, so waving to new listeners and to old timers too. Yeah. So what have you been up to, mate?
What have I been up to? Not a lot, but I am a very, very happy man right now because when I finished work yesterday, I plonked myself in the garden with a beer, just
as you do,
taking in the day, chilling down. Flicked on the old phone, and the best news ever popped up for me. I'm absolutely thrilled that David Bradley and Derek Jacobi have been added to LFCC, which we both just bought tickets for.
Whoa!
So it's double whammy. I was like, because I don't know if listeners remember from podcasts back, I went to the Birmingham one recently, and the main reason I went to that was because I really, really wanted to meet David Bradley, and he cancelled about 3 days after I bought my ticket, and I was gutted because I think he was so good in Adventure in Space and Time. I've been wanting to meet him for ages. So I was plonked in the garden yesterday, nothing really much going on in my world, and I saw that, and I was like, not just David Bradley, but Derek Jacobi as well. So amazing news. As if I wasn't excited enough about LFCC, I am buzzing now. I am absolutely buzzing.
Yeah.
So because there's loads of good Who guests there actually. I mean, we're both going both days, aren't we now? We're both going Saturday, Sunday, is that right?
Are. Yes. Yep.
Absolutely. So that's cool. But there's loads of Who guests, like Bernard Cribbins has been added, who's an absolute legend, one of my favourites, from the show. There's a couple of classic guests there. You've got Louise Jameson, Lala Ward's there. Who else is there, mate? There's loads of good people this year from Doctor Who. McCoy's there. Colin's just cancelled, which is a surprise because, Colin doesn't normally cancel.
He doesn't actually. He's normally him and McCoy and McGann when he's in the UK, but mostly in the US. Those guys are always up for conventions, aren't they? They hardly ever cancel.
Yeah. Actually, that's it. That is the only thing that worries me about David Jacobi is I think the last 2 times he's been added to a Showmaster event, he's cancelled. So I'm really, really hoping he doesn't cancel because, I'd love to meet him and get a picture of the Master signed by him. I thought he was awesome as the Master.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. So, it's very much looking forward to that. But apart from that, mate, I haven't really been up to much else this week. No.
Yeah, it's been quiet, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. Sunbathing has overtaken the geek stuff.
It's very hard to get motivated to do anything in this heat, actually. I started doing a bit of video editing yesterday, and having the laptop on my lap was just like having a pile of hot coals on there. I was just like, I can't do this. I just can't do this. So it's hard to be productive. But
Have
you been up to much?
No, mate, not at all. I've just been working and sunbathing.
Working and sunbathing, good combination.
Yeah, not much at all. I haven't really watched much Who either. I did watch a couple of episodes in the week that was just on TV as usual. What were they? I can't even remember, mate. I can't even remember. It was very light on Who for the week. We did spend some time actually with the Who Addicts guys, didn't we? They did their live stream on.
Oh, that was really good fun.
On
Friday night. Yeah, because they watched 2, didn't they? What did they do? They did Utopia. And what was the other one we watched together?
We watched Blink and then Utopia.
Oh, Blink followed by Utopia. Yeah, that was really good fun to watch those along. We've reviewed Blink, but we haven't reviewed Utopia. So I'm going to keep quiet about my thoughts on that one. But that was really good fun to watch those 2 back-to-back with those guys, wasn't it? And just being a chat and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah. If those any of our listeners who don't know who the Who Addicts are, there are Who-tubers. That's the correct term, isn't it?
Who-tubers, yeah.
Who-tubers, yeah. So they run this YouTube channel called The Who Addicts. And it's basically they just get together and review. They just chat Who all the time, basically. They do previews, reviews. They do thoughts and breakdowns, trailer break, all that stuff that you would expect. But Liv and Matt from The Who Addicts also do a live stream most Fridays where they just pick an episode or 2 and invite everybody on and just have a laugh and watch it together. But I normally just completely miss them. It's not until the Saturday morning I'm browsing through Facebook and I can see that they've done it. But we jumped on and it was a really good laugh with those guys. So if you don't follow the Who Addicts, go and give them a follow and a subscribe on YouTube. And then jump on the live streams on a Friday. It's a really good sort of place for Who fans just to hang out and just watch an episode together. It's really good fun. Really
it was good fun, yeah, because I think because they've been doing it for a little while now, we've all sort of got to know each other in the chat as well. So there's it's a real nice little community we've got going on in their live stream. So if you get the chance to jump in, listeners, do it because it's good fun. The thing was we were waiting for a live announcement though, weren't we? Because it was like we'd had such a good live stream, and then they were like it got to near midnight. So they were like, we're going to just hang on a little bit longer because there's supposed to be a special announcement tonight at midnight from the BBC. So we all hung on, didn't we? Like waiting. And then it didn't happen. There was no announcement. And did we ever get that announcement? Did we ever find out what that was?
No, I think it was just a day or 2 after. It was just some promo images.
Something very disappointing.
Yeah, rubbish.
That's not like the BBC to hype up a midnight announcement, is it?
No, not at all. No. I'm not going to say that my language got a bit colourful after a couple of drinkies.
Yeah,
it's quite because we never swear on our show. It's like completely clean because we're aware that we've got some younger listeners. But on that it's a bit more relaxed, should we say?
I was going to say it's very unusual that I wasn't drinking that Friday night. That's a rarity. You actually, that's bizarre because you don't really drink either, do you?
No, we like swapped.
So we had a bit of a role reversal last weekend. Don't know what that's all about, but there you go.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Before we get on to the news, actually, you mentioned London Film and Comic Con, which we're both very excited to be going to.
Yeah.
Both days. So if you got any of our listeners that are going, just keep a lookout and come and say hi, and we'll have a chat and all that jazz. But just to round up who's going for who, the Doctor Who stars. So we got Sir Derek Jacobi, that Adam already mentioned. is going to be there. We have Bernard Cribbins that you already mentioned as well. Yes, Colin Baker has cancelled. Sylvester McCoy is still going.
Yep.
I think he's there on the Saturday. Oh, no, he's there all 3 days. Wow.
Is he?
Yeah, fair play. Nicola Bryant's there.
Nicola Bryant, yeah.
Yep. Matthew Waterhouse.
Oh, yes. How can I forget him?
Wow. How could you? Okay. Mark Strickson.
Turlo. Oh.
Turlo. And Lala Ward.
Lovely Lala.
So a good combination of Who people there. Yes. And don't forget that the Sylvester McCoy autograph signing and photo, he's also doing the TARDIS photo shoot as well.
The classic TARDIS, his console.
Yeah. So as well as Who, there's loads of other stuff as well. I'm really gutted that Adam West sadly passed away recently, because he was one of the people that I was planning on meeting and getting a signed picture. Yeah,
that was very sad actually. Yeah, because I was I must admit I was really excited when he got added. Quite shocked actually. I was like, oh my goodness, Adam West is going. And then I was a little bit taken aback by the price of the autograph at the time. I was a bit like, oh, I don't know if I can, because I think he was 85, and I was thinking, oh, don't know. So I was a bit two minds, because I would have loved to have met him, but yeah, very sad that he's passed away in between. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. There we go.
Very sad. But there's loads of people there this year. It's going to be, if you are going, actually, one thing that we've realised over the years, you'll probably agree with me, Adam, is that especially if the weather's going to be good, it's going to be good weather, nice and hot, try and plan your day out. That's because if you turn up and you're not sure who you're going to get autographs with and stuff, you'll be surprised at how busy the place fills up. And then it's just like crazy for the bulk of the day. So, I think on Saturday we're going to plan to get all of our photos done and out the way, and then on Sunday a bit more chilled. And
that's what I'm hoping. Yeah.
So it'll be a good one. It'll be good.
It will be good. Yeah, no, it's good advice, because the day does go really quick as well. And it's just good to know, what time photo shoots are and where people are, so you can get all the stuff you want, because the day will fly. Yeah. But it's going to be good. I can't wait.
It will be.
Yeah.
Right, shall we land the TARDIS and do some news?
I think we should, because we've got a whopper of a show. Let's get into it.
Adam.
Gary.
Did you ever read the Doctor Who Adventures magazine?
Yeah, on occasion. If it had a good free gift on the front, I would pick it up.
I picked
not so much recently. Yeah, I remember when it first came out. I did get a few of them. Yeah. I think it was at the time when I was sort of buying anything Who. Do you know what I mean? It was just like, it was when Who was on a roll, and it seemed to be everywhere. And I was like, oh, there's a new magazine now. So yeah, I did in the early days. I used to pick it up quite a bit, and then more recently, I've just bought the odd one or two. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I got the odd one.
Yeah,
the odd one or two. Yeah, they were quite cool. I picked the first one up for my son. I thought, he'll be into that, because it's for for younger audiences. But he sort of glanced at it and breezed through it for about 3 seconds, and that was it. So, so I thought, I'll have that then, and I enjoyed it a lot more than you did, I think. But and strangely, they've paused the publication of this, and I say strangely because normally, these things just get stopped, don't they? It's a case of we're ceasing publication, and thank you for everything. But for some reason, they've worded this up as a pause in publication. So the next one, which is going to be released, if you're listening to this on launch day, will be yesterday. So the 22nd of June. We're recording this on the 21st. So on the 22nd, when that Doctor Who Adventures is out, it's going to be the last one. But they don't say, it's strange because they say it's been paused, but they don't follow up and say it's coming back at, another time later in the year or next year or something like that. It's just that we're pausing it. So it could be indefinitely. It could turn into we're not doing it anymore. But yeah, it started out in 2006. So it's been going for quite a while. It's a fortnightly thing. And Yeah, and I think the readership the number of readers has fallen.
Yeah.
I think,
quite dramatically, actually.
Quite a bit over the years. Yeah. So it's probably no surprise that they forced it. It just seemed like strange that they would not just say it's done and dusted. But so anyone that reads Doctor Adventures, or if you get it for your little ones or whatever, this month is the last one that we can foresee.
It's interesting. I hadn't really noticed the fact it said paused, because when I saw this bit of news, I just was like, well, I kind of saw that coming, because I've been hearing that the sales have dropped off massively, and like I haven't bought it for ages, and I just wasn't surprised. But I assumed, like you said, that they just decided that they were going to cancel it. So the fact that they're saying paused kind of suggests that maybe they're thinking of doing a relaunch, maybe when the new Doctor takes over or something. Perhaps they're just saying, right, let's put it on a hiatus, if you like, for want of a better word, until the new Doctor comes in or something. So possibly. Yeah, maybe it'll come back in some form or other. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, if you subscribe to this, not via a physical edition, but if you've got a digital subscription to this, then your subscription will be automatically converted over to the Doctor Who magazine, the normal one.
Oh, right, okay.
Or you can choose to cancel it, whatever. But yeah, there we go.
There we go. Okay, right. In other news, a couple of Doctor Who actors have been honoured by the Queen. The Queen.
Queenie.
First off, old Queenie. She's been out giving a few honours. First of all, actress and comedian June Whitfield has been made a Dame Commander of the Order. How cool does that sound?
Sounds awesome.
How are you, June? I'm fine. Didn't you know I'm a Dame Commander of the Order? Yeah, of the British Empire, no less. So that's very nice. I mean, I have to say, I love June Whitfield. I don't know about you, mate, but she's been in loads of things as I've grown up over the years. I think she's a great actress, and she sort of popped up in loads of shows during the 80s and 90s, and obviously she was in The End of Time, wasn't she? Yeah, what was her character name in that? She was really funny in that. Minnie, wasn't it?
She's the one that gives David Tennant a bit of a grope during the group photo. She's great, yeah.
Cheeky Minnie. So that's really cool. Other actresses, Sarah Lancashire. She's been made an Officer of the Order of the British Empire, or OBE if you like. She starred in Partners in Crime. She was Miss Foster. She's a good actress as well, actually. What's that thing she's in? I watch.
She was in that police
Valley,
drama.
That's very good. I've only just got around to watching
Valley. Yeah,
Happy Valley. Yeah, it's not such a happy show, but it's a good program. David Walliams. He's also been made an Officer of the Order of the British Empire. Obviously, he's been in loads of stuff, but he was in the God Complex, wasn't he? As what was that thing? Gibbous, wasn't it? Gibbous.
Oh, the rodent-y looking
thing,
species.
The cowardly thing. Yeah, he's that. And finally, Gugu Martha Raw. So you say it.
We're great with names, so that's probably wrong.
Martha Raw. She's been made a member of the Order of the British Empire, or MBE, if you prefer. You will, of course, know Gugu as Tish Jones, Martha's sister in Series 3. So yeah, that's really cool for those guys. It's a really nice little thing to get, I should think.
Yeah,
I'm not quite sure. Yeah. It's very cool.
If she's handing them out, then hello.
I'm just checked the phone is it's definitely on the hook. So yeah, we'll wait for ours to come through.
We're patient.
Come on, Queenie.
Yeah. Next up, Delia Derbyshire.
Oh yes,
has been honoured with one of those famous blue plaques.
Yeah.
If you don't know what a blue plaque is, it's those things that you see on listed buildings and other important places where Adam's cracking up at something.
No, I just imagined your house getting one. Gary from the Big Blue Box files. But I don't know why, but as I thought that, I just imagined it being demolished. That's what made me laugh. It's that vision of a big. Anyway, sorry. Crack on.
Rightio. Delia Derbyshire has been the childhood home of Delia Derbyshire has been honoured with a blue plaque. And in the UK, these blue plaques are, you see them, like I said, dotted around on important buildings or buildings of significance. And for those of you who don't know who Delia Derbyshire is, she came up with the original music for the Hartnell series. So the original theme and some of the music. And I think she was, if memory serves, she was part of the early what was it called? The BBC
Radiophonic Workshop.
Radiophonic, that's right, yeah. So like an experimental thing with all sort of electronic and synth sounds at the time. And it's quite groundbreaking, quite ahead of its time.
Yeah.
And if you've seen An Adventure in Time and Space and Time? Time and Space?
Space and Time.
Space and Time, yeah. There's a really good scene, actually, where they're showing the new theme, the new intro to, what's his face? God, why are we so bad with names?
Who are you trying to think of?
You know, the boss of the BBC at the time.
Oh,
the guy with the glasses and a little pencil tash, and what's his name? Oh, crikey.
Completely gone. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, so
listeners will know.
Yeah, so there's a bit where who's the producer of who? The original one, the lady?
Verity Lambert.
Verity Lambert, thank you, because my brain's not on this morning. So there's a bit.
Blame the heat, mate.
Yeah, so Verity Lambert, she's playing this theme that Delia Derbyshire had worked up, and people just got freaked out by it. They thought it was too creepy and it was spooky and it was just not very nice to listen to and so on. And Verity said, well, she said, no, it's going in, deal with it.
Yeah.
So it's thanks to people like Delia Derbyshire and the other people that were making that music at the time that we've got that iconic theme that we have now, and all of that really cool, experimental, quirky music from the early Hartnell years. So really, really cool that the BBC have recognised this as a place, and they've given it a plaque and so on. So a person from the Beeb said, it's hugely prestigious to receive a British Plaque Trust Blue Plaque. That's a mouthful, isn't it? A British Plaque Trust Blue Plaque. It's usually only around 2 are awarded each year. To mark BBC Music Day across BBC local radio with 47 blue plaques is a fitting way to commemorate our listeners' passion and pride for where they live and to celebrate our musical heritage. So, very good.
Yeah, it's a nice thing. Colin Baker and Nicola Bryant were there, weren't they, to unveil it as well, which is lovely.
Really good.
Colin in a big hat. Yeah, Sidney Newman was the guy we were both trying to think of there. Yeah, yes. Yeah, it's the heat, mate. It's got to us. Right, in other news, what have we got?
Ratings.
That's it. Yeah, ratings. How are we doing in the ratings? So, like, Empress of Mars is what's just come in, and it got a final rating of 5.02 million. So that, as usual, these have gone up quite a bit since the overnights, because I think the overnight was around 3 million, something like that.
That's right.
Yep. Yeah, it's quite low. So yeah, once they've totaled up all the other stuff and added it on, it's come in at just over 5 million viewers, which isn't bad. It brings us in at 23 in the list of programs watched that week. The bad news is that the Antiques Roadshow has beat us this week.
I can't believe this.
I know. I don't know why. So that one always sticks to my. I always check because we beat Antiques Roadshow this week, but we haven't. So we're 23 below things like, obviously 20 versions of EastEnders, Emmerdale, Coronation, all that. So take all that out as usual. Country File beat us this week, and so did Have I Got News for You? But I guess there's a lot of topical stuff going on. So yeah, but yeah, it's okay. 5 million. It's not bad. We're still kind of in there doing our thing, aren't we? But yeah, could do better.
This is outrageous. How can we get beat? How have we been beaten by Country File and the Antiques Roadshow on a Saturday evening? Come on.
That is true. What's because Antiques Roadshow, blimmin' heck, that got an extra million viewers. That got 6.1 million viewers. Antiques Roadshow. That is quite shocking, actually. Come on, Doctor Who fans.
Has it come to this, really?
Has it really come to this? Yeah. Actually, it was quite a good episode as well, wasn't it?
Of the Antiques Roadshow?
Yeah. No, I haven't watched that for years. But no, Doctor Who was quite good. Empress of Mars. We both quite liked that one, didn't we?
Yeah.
Both thought it was a good episode.
Decent.
So decent, yeah.
Yeah, so at the top 30 with 23.
Yeah.
We did beat DIY SOS, the big build, though. So every cloud.
Yeah. Oh, that's all right then.
And all that. So there we go.
There we go.
Lastly in the news. Actually, no. Actually, yes. Is it last?
That's it for the news. That's it.
That's the news, isn't it?
That's your lot.
Right. That's it for the news. So, shall we see what our tin friend has got for us?
He looks like he's got a lot. You better bring him in.
The heat. It's the heat, I'm sure of it.
It is, mate.
Crikey.
We've lost it.
Tat, get in here.
Merch corner. Merch corner. Merch corner.
I don't know whether to be impressed or disgusted.
It's a bit rubbish, but it's pretty. It's very pretty.
So we mentioned earlier, certain someone called Sir Derek Jacobi.
Oh, yes.
So he's going to be attending London Film and Comic Con.
Mm-hmm.
Better news, he's returning for Big Finish.
Yes.
As the Master.
Amazing.
How amazing. Right. We only saw him as we watched Utopia, like we said earlier, on a Friday night.
Yeah.
With the Who Alex guys, right? And everybody thought the same thing. We only see him as the Master for what? A matter of minutes.
Yeah.
Towards the end of that story. And because he's such a great actor, and when he turns to the Master, you think, crikey, he's really sinister as the Master.
Really, yeah.
Really creepy. So it's just another one of those genius decisions by Big Finish to bring back a character that you desperately wanted to see more of in the TV show. That just wasn't, you just couldn't do it. Because the way it was written, it was meant to be that big build-up. Yeah. And sometimes that's the best TV, when it leaves you wanting more. You know, True. It doesn't give you everything, and then you end up just with, you know, a huge story that's given to you. And, you know, if I think that was Ricky Gervais's concept for some of his series, like The Old Office and The Extras and stuff like that. He always said that he was only ever going to do a couple of series because he really likes how Fawlty Towers was finished.
That's right, yeah, just enough.
Yeah, a lot of people said, why didn't they go on and do more Fawlty Towers? And they said, well, actually, if you think about it, it leaves you at that point where you're like, oh, we want so much more. And it makes it, you know, a bit more appetizing, if you like.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad that they did that in a TV show, because perhaps if they went on and did another episode or two with him as the Master, it would have been a bit like, oh, you know, our imagination is filling in the gaps quite nicely of what he could have been like. You know, so I think Big Finish has really hit onto something with this one. I think it's going to be so good. Yeah.
Yeah. I was, like you said, it was the weird timing because it was pure chance that we ended up watching Utopia the other night. And then obviously this was announced, and I don't know about you, mate, but I actually shrieked. I was like, oh my God, yes. Absolutely perfect for Big Finish, because, you know, I just think it's great. I'm really hyped for this release. It's coming out, when is it? Is it November time? When is it coming out? It's not a million miles away.
It's not too far away. I think it is. It's December. Yeah.
Oh, December. Okay. Yeah. And it's going to be a box set. So, you know, if you pre-order it, it'll be around about £23 for the CD, 20 for the download. So good price. Does it say how many discs is it? It's normally 3 or 4 with their box sets.
This one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm hyped for this release, mate. I think it's it came a bit out of the blue, but it just seems like, obviously, with what's going to happen in the show this week, with the return of a certain character and everything, it just seems brilliantly timed.
Yeah.
Artwork, absolutely gorgeous. Love the artwork, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely wonderful. Yeah,
I love it. It just looks brilliant. Can't wait for it. So, yeah, take my money, Big Finish. Take more of my money.
There is one slight little thing for me that's quite heartbreaking.
Oh,
so the title of the box set is called The War Master.
Oh yes, yeah.
So how amazing would it have been to have the War Doctor and the War Master sort of face off?
Yeah, I wonder if that was ever a plan. I wonder if that was ever on the cards. But yes, that would have been awesome.
But nevertheless. So actually, it's a 5-disc set.
5-disc set, okay, that's good for 20 quid then. Yeah,
comprised of 4 stories. I imagine the 5th disc is a behind the scenes
normally
MacGuffin. So yeah, series 1 is called Beneath the Viscoid. Episode 1. Episode 2, The Good Master. Episode 3, The Sky Man, and Episode 4, The Heavenly Paradigm.
Okay.
Yeah, some great names of it. James Goss, Guy Adams, and Nick Briggs actually wrote the first one. So
did he?
Yeah.
Oh, Briggsy.
Getting his hands dirty with some writing as well. So, and just lastly, Mr. Jacoby did say, I didn't expect to come back to it all these years later, but I was thrilled to be remembered. The plots in all these episodes have been very good, very interesting, very dramatic, and beautifully written. The whole process has been a delight.
Oh, brilliant.
So, great stuff.
Yeah, really good stuff. Okay, also on Dalek Tat's tray, we've got a new Funko Pop, and it's only Clara. So anybody who likes your Funkos and anybody who likes Clara out there, this is going to be an SDCC exclusive, but they do tend to find their way over to the UK through Forbidden Planet and stores like that. So no doubt she'll get over here at some point. As Funkos go, I actually don't mind this one. I mean, I'm not a fan of Clara, as I'm sure a lot of our listeners know, but it's the one where she's wearing a sort of red tartan dress and black pullover. Well, I don't know. What's the lady's equivalent of a pullover? But yeah, she's wearing that.
Yeah, so the tartan skirt and the black tights and the boots, and I think it's a black cardigan with the white shirt underneath, I think.
Yeah. It's not a bad one to go for. I mean, it's enough to recognise it as Clara, isn't it?
Yeah.
I would say. Yeah.
I'm not into it, this one, I'll be honest with you, because I don't feel like it warrants an exclusive release. It looks just like a standard range one to me. There's nothing about it that says, wow, this is a cool exclusive or anything. So, but if you're into Clara, then keep your eye out on eBay just after San Diego and Forbidden Planet International and so on. But yeah, not too fussed about that one, mate.
You passed on that one. What happened to that? There was a Rory exclusive that came out a couple of weeks ago. I don't know what happened to that. It seems to have disappeared off the radar. The Centurion one.
Yeah, in the Centurion Alpha. Yeah, I haven't seen that. Yeah.
No, I haven't seen that at all. Anyway, yes, there we go. Another pop on its way.
Moving on, a new book is coming out later in the year.
Another book.
Which I'm going to pre-order, I think, because I think this looks brilliant. This is Doctor Who, The Tales of Terror. And it's 12 chilling horror stories from across all of time and space. It's going to be released just in time for, just prior to Halloween. So,
perfect.
A new spine-chilling collection of, 12 short illustrated adventures, packed with terrifying Doctor Who monsters and villains. So the 6 authors are Jacqueline Rayner, Mike Tucker, Paul McGars, I think that's how you say it.
Paul Marks, he's good.
Yeah, Richard Dungworth, Scott Hancock, and Craig Donoghue. And what's really cool is they're short illustrated. So it's like a cross between like a comic and, good old fashioned book, but it's not a full on graphic novel. But I just really like the sound of more sort of adult horror stories based on Who. I mean, I'm not sure how appropriate it'll be for our younger listeners. I don't think it's going to be anything quite graphic or anything like that, but there's just something cool about having a slightly darker horror story based on Who, because we've had the odd story that's been a bit creepy with Who over the years. You know what I mean? We've had some quite scary episodes, but we've not had anything that's dedicated to the horror side. So when's this due out? It is due out in, I think,
just while you're looking
September.
for that, I was going to say, I recognise a lot of the names that you read out there in the authors, and a lot of them are really, the ones I recognise are really good actually, like Mike Tucker and what's her name, Rayner?
Jacqueline Rayner.
Jacqueline Rayner, they've done some other good stories for Doctor Who. So, it does sound quite promising, that one. Like you said, it'd be good if it was quite dark and perfectly timed with Halloween and stuff. I'm wondering if it's in the same style as, you've had a couple of books out recently, like the Brief History and Myths and Legends, and this one's got a cover that seems to fit in with that style. Do you think it's sort of in that same sort of vein?
Because
if it is, it might be good. Because I picked up, I didn't actually buy it. What was it? It was the Brief History of Time Lords, right? Which is we talked about a few months back on the podcast. That was coming out. I saw it in the shop and I thought, I couldn't. It's the first time I've seen it in hand, and I wasn't sure because there's so many Doctor Who books come out. It was gorgeous. I opened it up and I was like, this is a lovely little book, actually, because obviously all I'd seen up until this point was the cover. Unfortunately, it was a little bit battered. So I went onto FP website. They'd got it for a couple of pounds cheaper. So the next time I did my comic order, I ordered that as well.
Oh, cool.
Because you could get it signed from them. That was 2.5 weeks ago, and I'm still waiting for it. But the point is, it's a really nice book. So I'm hoping that if the other two books are in that same style, including this one, they're really nice. Like, they've got really nice illustrations and stuff in. So, yeah, I don't know about this one. I'm assuming it's the same. I'll have to see when it comes out. But yeah, it could be a good one to get.
It's out in September. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome. What else has he got on that tray then? Oh my goodness, my favourites. Oh, everybody knows I love a blind box. The Titans have just announced their next range of Doctor Who ones. I don't know what Gary thinks of these, but I love them. This new range they've got coming out. It's called the what is it called?
Partners
in Time.
Yeah.
Partners in Time collection. It's very random. I mean, they've got like all sorts in here. There doesn't seem to be such a theme like they have before. But personally, and I'm going to just get this in before Gary comes in because I don't know if he'll agree with me. I love the look of it. I want every single one of them, especially Nardole. So they've got Donna, the 10th Doctor in his orange spacesuit with glowing eyes, Martha, Nardole, 12th Doctor, Bill, the 4th Doctor in a grey coat, Sarah Jane from Hand of Fear. Bizarrely, a little Minis TARDIS console, which I really want. This is the only one that I'm not too sure about. They've got the 11th Doctor, which is kind of wearing nothing but a towel. That's a bit disturbing. You've got Craig in the King's Arm top from the Lodger. And finally, the Face of Bo. Imagine a Face of Bo Titan. I'm a little bit excited about these because I love these figures and I love getting them. And I get frustrated when I get 4 or 5 of the same figure because obviously you don't know what you're getting until you open the box. But yeah, I'm very excited for this new set, mate. I'm probably a lot more than you, but yeah, I don't know when they're coming out. They haven't given a release date yet, have they?
November.
November, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Take my money now. Yeah, are you liking any of these? You're not? I know you're not as into these as me, but are you liking any of these little figures?
I like a couple of them.
Do you? Go on then.
I really like the 10th Doctor with the glowing eyes and the space suit.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
It's very cool. I like the 4th Doctor. He looks great.
Yeah.
I like the TARDIS console and the Face of Bo, and I quite like the Sarah Jane one. It's quite cool.
I thought you'd like Bo. When this came out, I thought I'm sure Gary would at least like the Face of Bo one because he looks very cool.
Yeah. And the others I'm not too fussed about. So Nardole and Martha and Donna.
I do want the Nardole one. Yeah.
Not too fast. It's very difficult, isn't it? I can't say, I'll pick up a couple because that's not how you play the game with blind boxes. You have to go through a million of them before you get the one you want. But I'll probably pick up half a dozen and see how we get on.
You can, I was going to say, I know when they release them, you can buy like the whole box set and it's normally around 150 quid. Yeah. So at least that way, you've pretty much got them all. And they normally do a couple of chase figures as well. So there's always a couple of rare ones, really hard to get. And they often sell for ridiculous money on eBay if you do get them. But I sometimes wonder, is it worth buying, because that's 150 quid, because I buy them individually and I think I probably end up spending more than that just trying to get them all. So it's a difficult choice, but I've never bought a complete box set as much as I'd love to. But yeah, we'll see. I'm looking forward to these anyway.
I'm sure a lot of our listeners are as well. They are quite popular.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Lastly,
here he is
in merch. So when we talked about this several weeks ago, it's the mashup, the Mr. Men Doctor Who mashup, and we spoke about the new books and all the cool merchandise that they were launching with it, the Hargreaves website and so on. And we looked through it and we're like, we're missing a couple though, aren't we? We're missing a couple. And they've it's not really strange. They've uniquely announced the 10th Doctor as a new book called The Christmas Surprise. And yes, so it's a new book that's out in October the 5th. And it's basically an adventure around the 10th Doctor mashup. Yeah. So no regular book. So 8, 9, who was it? 8, 9, 10. No, sorry, 8, 9, 11, 2, 7, and another one. They all got their own little book. Oh, the first Doctor as well. They all got their own little book and some merchandise to go with it. You can pick up key rings and notebooks and all that jazz. But it's strange that they haven't done any of that stuff for the 10th Doctor.
Yes,
so
it is.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's going to come next year or whatever after Christmas, but at least he's there. And he does look very Tennant-y. And I think it's just because they've nailed the look of most of these, haven't they? Especially the 7th Doctor, the 2nd Doctor.
Yeah, I love the look of the 7th.
The first one. The 9th to an extent. I'm still not that sold on the 8th Doctor. He looks
he looks like the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, not too sold on that one. But I think they've nailed the 10th Doctor one. He's got a Santa hat on, so it's not 100% legit. But he does look very good. So we'll see. So it's a new book, the Doctor 10th Christmas Surprise! Exclamation mark.
Yeah, just good to have him join in the range, I think. So it doesn't leave, obviously I assume they're going to fill in the gaps next year or at some point. Yeah, it's good to have him join the range. Your wife will be pleased, won't she? That's the first thing she said, wasn't it, when you said about the Mr. Men book? She's like, where's 10?
Yeah, that was the first thing she said was, where's the 10th Doctor then? So
yeah, so she'll have him in some form.
I had to calm her down for a little bit. But I did read something else as well about these Mr. Men stuff. Where is it?
Oh, is it about the box set?
Yeah, there's going to be a box set on the way, isn't there? As well. Yeah. So they're going to package together the first 8 titles. And they're going to be a deluxe collectible box, and it comes with a poster and some artwork by Adam Hargreaves. And so, that's going to be really cool, actually. The box set. So if you haven't picked up all the individual little books yet and anything, you can pick it up. I think it's going to be about £35.
Yeah.
Roughly. But that would be cool as well.
It will be. Although I presumably they'll do another box set when they've done the remaining 3 or whatever. So, yeah, don't know. Still quite cool.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we're finally done for news and merch.
Yes, some good stuff in there.
Some very good stuff. Right. Adam.
Yes.
The old mucker.
Can you hear the music?
Not yet.
That was bagpipes. Yeah.
That was bagpipes, was it?
That's what it was.
Done.
Yes, Gary, I'm not going to do it. It's the Eaters of Light.
Ninth Legion and the Keeper of the Gate. They disappeared.
Except they didn't.
Where is my friend, and what destroyed the Roman army?
Something here managed to wipe out 5,000 Romans.
Every hour of sunlight that feeds it makes the world darker and the beast stronger.
The beast stronger. So the Eaters of Light. Near the end of Series 10.
Oh.
Coming around fast. Yeah, so 17th of June, normal 45-minute run. It was directed by Charles Palmer and written by Rona Munro.
Yeah, classic series writer.
I couldn't see that many, well, we'll come on to it in a bit. I couldn't see that many moth fingerprints over this one, except one potential big one. And
okay.
I still don't know if it is yet or not. I still can't make my mind up.
I'm trying to think what that is then.
So after the episode went out, Twitter just went crazy with, did you see?
Yeah.
Blah, blah. Did you see? And that got me thinking. I think, was that? Or is it just a coincidence? I'm not sure, but we'll come on to it. So the Doctor, Bill and Nardole, very much to the chagrin of Nardole, are in Scotland on an adventure when they should be guarding the vault. And it's basically a competition of knowledge between the Doctor and Bill. So she reckons that she knows everything about the 9th Legion of the Roman army. And the Doctor says that he knows everything about it because he's been there and lived it and done it, X, Y, and Z. So they separate off to go and look for said 9th Legion, and they run into a big beastie that has strange things launching out of its mouth that seemingly just disintegrate all light from a person when they're captured. And that they run into another band of people, the barbarians, who are basically kids. And what at first glance looks like just a big fight between the Romans and these barbarians turns out to be a fight for survival, really. And and the Doctor and Bill sort of put their differences aside about who was right, who was wrong. I think they were both wrong at the end. And defeat the beastie, put it back in the portal, and then we have quite a cool scene with Missy again at the end.
Yeah.
I hope she's getting paid enough, you know.
What, Missy?
Yeah, Michelle Gomez. Because you probably thought, right, lovely. Series 10's coming up. That's a few more quid in the pocket. That's another handbag or a pair of shoes, whatever. But the Moth's like, don't get too comfortable, love. You're only in it for 12 minutes. Not even that. Each episode, you're in it for a few minutes. But anyways.
I think that might all change next week, but we'll see.
Hopefully, yeah. Okay, so The Eaters of Light. What are your feelings on this one, mate?
Didn't enjoy it. Simple as that. I didn't enjoy it. I was really disappointed.
Adam, just for future reference on further shows, can you just not mince your words, please? Don't sugarcoat it.
I won't drag it out.
Yep.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't enjoy it. I was really looking forward to this one because obviously Rona Monroe wrote Survival, the last classic story and all that. And I was just like thinking, yeah, great to have a new, a classic writer back on board for the new series and stuff. And I watched it just after it went out. So I'd had a couple of glasses of wine, but, I sat there and I watched it. I was bored rigid, and I couldn't see half of what was going on because obviously it's so bright at the minute of the sun, and it was a very dark episode. So I had half the time I couldn't see the screen because it was quite a dark episode. So it wasn't a great first view, and I thought, well, I've had a few drinks. I'll watch it on Tuesday before we record again properly sober after work, which I did, and I was actually quite looking forward to giving it a rewatch because I kind of felt like I probably wasn't in the right mood at the time on Saturday. Do you know what I mean? I'd sort of been drinking with friends in the garden and come in to watch it and blah blah blah. So I watched it properly on Tuesday, sat down. Totally as if I hadn't really seen it because I couldn't remember anything that it was about or like I said, didn't really get the gist of it because I couldn't see half of it on a first watching.
Right.
And I just sat there and I was just like really, really bored. I really wanted to like it. I was sort of grasping at straws really, just thinking, oh well, that's a good bit of story, I suppose. And then I was thinking, oh, it's not though, is it? I can't lie. I was really trying to convince myself that it was some good stuff going on, and even to the point that I was saying to myself, well, it's slow because it's it's got that very classic, almost like a Pertwee story where it's it's a lot of talking and this is very classic style. And I was just thinking, actually no, I'm just trying to convince that it's just boring. I just didn't enjoy it, mate. I'm afraid I really wanted to, but I didn't at the end of the day. I mean, there was a few bits I liked, but for me it felt like a wasted episode. Because we're so close to the end of series 10. This is what episode is this? Is this actually episode 10? 10, 11, 12. Anyway, it felt like it shouldn't be at this point in the series. Like normally we're ramping things up big time towards the final, and it just felt like a really lackluster episode at this point in the series, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I'm afraid I didn't enjoy it. What about you?
Okay, right. I think I enjoyed it a bit more than you.
Okay, good.
I thought it was one of those sort of middle of the road episodes where the best way I can describe it is if it was on TV and I had nothing else to watch and I was browsing through and it was on, then I would probably watch it. But I wouldn't say it's one that I would reach for off the shelf if I purposely if I said, so I'm going to make a decision. I'm going to watch a Capaldi episode. Which one am I going to watch? It probably wouldn't be this one.
No.
That's the best way I can sort of say it, really. I just thought it was really middle of the road. I thought it had some good ideas. I thought it's, I quite like, I mean, as usual, we'll get onto Capaldi later, but I thought that Capaldi really had to carry this one.
Yeah.
For the most part. I quite like how it was set up. So the two kids on the hill at the beginning, I thought that was quite good, but then they didn't really explore that at all until right at the end. It's a nice way to sort of close the episode off, I guess, but there wasn't much else there. I was really looking forward to seeing how this one would pan out, actually, because as we know, Rona Munro wrote the very last episode of Classic Who. She wrote Survival for McCoy. So I thought, this is going to be interesting. We've got a classic writer coming back, bags of experience with Who. Let's see how this goes. But I think not that set my expectations too high, but I just thought, this could be really cool.
Yeah.
And it just ended up falling a wee bit flat, really. I thought the supporting cast were, for the most part, pretty poor. Mainly the Romans, really, the Ninth Legion guys. I thought they were very poor. And Bill, not too bad. Nardole was very funny. Liked him in it. But overall, I just thought it was quite flat. I mean, I enjoyed watching it. I didn't turn it off or anything, but not just going to shout about it afterwards. Did you see Who? It was amazing. It was not like that. So.
It did make me think, because obviously we'd watched that Utopia the night before. The night before, and I was trying not to, but I couldn't help comparing the two, because we were sort of saying, about at the time we were all saying like how good the show was back then, and it is true. I know people are sick of hearing it, but it's true. When we were watching Utopia the night, we were all of us in that chat were screaming at the TV, and I was trying to put that out of my mind the whole time, but because it was the night before, I was watching it thinking, this is a million miles away from that. And I know not every episode has to be, shout at the screen moment, but like you said, I mean, would I go into work on Monday and say, oh, did you see Doctor Who? No, I wouldn't, because it was just like, I can't imagine it holding many people's attention unless they're a hardcore fan. I really can't. I can't imagine anybody coming in, sitting down, saying, oh, Doctor Who's on, is it? What's happening this week? Watching it and staying watching it. I mean, my partner was clawing the walls on Saturday night, and he will happily watch Doctor Who. He likes Doctor Who.
Right.
If it's a good story, he will happily sit there and watch it with me every week. He was just like, God, he couldn't wait for me to switch it off. He's just like, oh God, it's still on. And I was like, yeah, but it was disappointing. I have to say, the best thing in it, just picking up on the things you were saying just then, I agree about the supporting cast. I thought they were very average, but I really liked Nardole this week. He was about the best thing in it for me. And I've got to say, and hopefully I didn't give too much away on, because you may have seen my Facebook post, but for the first time, although it did start to creep in last week, if you remember me saying, but Bill was irritating me this week. And that again was kind of really my enjoyment, because I've loved Bill for most of this series. I really loved her to begin with, and then gradually her character is starting to unravel a bit for me. And it all started when she fired 3 rounds into the Doctor in Pyramids, or whatever that episode was called.
Yeah.
So that was the first bit, and then last week, if you remember, I was saying she was getting a little bit cocky. I said, don't know if I like, Bill's getting a bit confident now. And we were saying it was progression of the character, but this week I just found her quite irritating, and just it started with her sort of mouthing off to the Doctor at the start and all that, and I don't know, I didn't like Bill this week, and it just affected my enjoyment of the overall episode, really, because I've really liked her up to this point, but yeah, she was annoying me this week. I was just finding her a bit. She reminds me of the sort of, I don't know, that she sort of lost the innocence. She's become a bit mouthy. She's a bit gobby. She's a bit Series 2 Rose. It's just like, no, where's that nice innocent? Where's Bill from the earlier episodes? I don't know. I think I'm in a minority, although a lot of people did agree with me on Twitter, but a lot of people didn't agree with me as well. So, yeah, I don't know. But it's just a shame, because she's been sort of a bit like Capaldi, carrying some of the episodes a bit for me, even if it's a episode that's a bit below par. Right. I've sort of loved Bill in it, and I've said, oh yeah, but Bill was great this week, and she carried the episode a bit. But this week she just irritated me. So I don't think that helped.
Oh dear.
Yeah. What did you think? Do you still think Bill's good? Do you still like Bill?
Yeah, I do. I do still like Bill, but I can also see where you're coming from, mate. I can see that. And we said this last week, didn't we? Was it last week? We said that.
Yeah, I found her just a little bit last week, just starting to creep in.
Yeah.
But this week I found it was a bit sort of full on, in terms of the fact that she's become a little bit, for want of a better word, a bit gobby, which is what I don't like. She's sort of answering the Doctor back, whereas in the earlier episodes there was this real nice chemistry between the two of them, where he was the teacher and she really respected him, and now she's a bit like ready to just have a go at anybody that's in front of her, sort of thing. I'm thinking, no, I don't like that,
Yeah, I can totally see where you're coming from, mate. And I think we said this last week, and you said, "Oh, I'm not sure if Bill's getting too confident and a bit too lippy and stuff like that." And I still think that this is just a progression of her character.
Yeah.
I don't think that this is by accident. I don't think that all of a sudden she's just, mouthy and confident and, where's this come from? I think this is planned. I think she's been written this way throughout the series, where as she's travelled more and more with the Doctor and she's been around him a lot more, she has grown to be more confident with him and more relaxed, so she can speak her mind more and stuff like that. But at the same time, I do agree with you, though. There was, especially at the beginning when they land in Wales, stroke through Scotland, where she says the Doctor's quite calm as well. He's not reacting to her. He's just saying, I've been there, bought the T-shirt, sort of thing. I know what's going on. And she's like, no, I've read all about it. I know what's going on. So I did think, you're not really in a position to start arguing history with somebody like the Doctor,
Yeah.
That is a bit overconfident, I suppose. But it is a bit of a tough one, mate. Because, where do you sit with it? Do you think, well, she's just, we would all be like that? Or is it a case of, no, she's being cocky and I'm not... I think a lot of people liken it to Rose as well. That's the problem. Whenever you have a companion that gets a little bit above their station and a little bit, everyone starts flinging the Rose card around. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just the first episode for me where I've really sort of shone off her a bit, if you like. I've really liked her up to this point. And like I said, for me, Nardole was the standout. I absolutely loved him in this week's episode. It was the only thing that really kept me going was his silly little one-liners, and I just thought he brought a nice sort of comedy edge to it without being too silly. Just the little one-liners and stuff. Yeah, I really liked Nardole this week.
Yeah. No, I thought he was great, Nardole. I really did. I thought he was. He's still got that balance right for me. He's still got that comedy humour factor, but also quite serious when he has to be. At the very beginning, maybe it was really giving the Doctor a hard time. Like, why are we here? There's more important things to be doing, like guarding the vault and Missy and all that. And but then he sort of goes with the flow a little bit. So he starts to go with the Doctor and that. And then when the Doctor's been away for what seems like a few seconds for him, but a couple of days for Nardole, when he returns, Nardole's got the face paint on, and
that's the bit I liked. He's like, "Have you been looking? You have been looking for Bill, haven't you?" And he's like, well, we did look, yeah." And I just again, it's the chemistry between him and the Doctor that I absolutely love.
Yeah.
Just going back to Bill for a second, because I know a lot of people brought this up. About the fact that she does seem to keep banging on about, because there was this whole thing that they weren't going to make a big deal about the fact that she's gay. And a few people have said, after this week's episode, she does seem to want to tell everybody, like every bloke seems to fancy her, and it does seem to be a little bit shoehorned in.
Yeah.
And I haven't really felt that up until this week's. I did feel that scene, the dialogue felt totally unnatural to me. The guy he didn't even come on to or anything. He just smiled at her or whatever, and she's suddenly like, "Oh, whoa, sorry mate, hang on, let's just get this straight." Because that was another thing that just really irritated me about her, her character this week. She's just like, I don't know. I don't know if you felt it, but I just felt it seemed a little out of place. It's like, yeah, Bill, you're gay. You don't have to go around telling everybody you meet. We get it. It's making a big deal out of something that shouldn't be a big deal out of it, if that makes sense. I mean, even my partner said, and I mean, he was barely watching the episode, but even he said, "Oh, what's she going on about that for?" Because it seemed out of nowhere, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Did you feel it? It felt very shoehorned to me.
Yeah, it was almost like a repeat of Knock Knock, where the guy walks her up to her floor, and she has to say to him, "I'm not into guys."
Yeah, but I didn't mind that, because I was thinking that felt more natural, because they are going to be living in the same house. They're students, they're young guys, and we all know, that's a very natural situation. But the guy didn't even flirt with her this week, and she's suddenly like, whoa, hang on, mate. Whoa. I was just like, oh no, it just didn't seem to necessary to me.
No, I agree with you. I think what I mean is it just felt like it was a repeat of that.
Yeah,
almost word for word. which just didn't need to happen. Like you say, it doesn't need to be shoehorned in for us to get that she's gay. You know, we got that from like the very, very important overcooked, you know, BBC announcement about it. You know, the whole world, you know, it was rammed down our throats that, you know, we've got a gay companion. You know, the B took it upon themselves to really hammer that point home before the series even started. So we don't need to be reminded of it every episode.
Yeah,
you know,
it just
or
felt
every
very
encounter.
shoehorned to me.
Yeah,
and again, that annoyed me as well. I just thought, you know, it's another sort of negative, if you like, to this episode for me. Yeah.
No, I read you, man. It's it's very bizarre as well that we've not visited the university in a while either. So what I found really cool about the first bunch of episodes, if you like, before the Monks trilogy, was that we had this very nice, almost base of operations, if you like, for the Doctor, where we had a really cool, really great designed office with all these nice little elements in there, little throwbacks to Who and all that stuff. And we had Bill doing her own thing, but then she goes and sees the Doctor, and you know, and we seem to have lost that bit of early charm of the series, if you like. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's great that we're out on another adventure. It feels a little bit like Tooth and Claw, where the TARDIS just lands in a field somewhere and we get caught up in an adventure. That's good, but it feels like, you know, we've lost that early part of the series that made it quite special.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've got to agree with that 100%, because I was thinking this yesterday after watching it. I was thinking Series 10 is really fizzling out for me, and surely it should be ramping up. It's as if because the Moff said it was going to be feel fresh, it was going to be a good jumping on point for new viewers, and I kind of took that with a pinch of salt at the time. But you know, 2 or 3 episodes into Series 10, I was thinking, yeah, he's done it. The Moff's delivered on what he said. It feels fresh. It's you know, it's a new, like you said, it's lovely having the Doctor having his little office. It reminds me of Pertwee and, you know, when he was stuck on Earth with Unit and having his little laboratory and stuff like that. So yeah, I was loving this, like you said, new feel to the series. And I've got to say, ever since the Monks trilogy, I feel like the Moffat's kind of gone in there full of energy. He's got his coffee. He's got the series off to a good start. It's all flowing great. Yeah, I'm just popping out for a fag, guys. He's gone out and he's just slightly taken his eye off the ball, because the series seems to have really fizzled out in the last sort of few episodes, apart from the Ice Warrior episode, I would say, which I quite enjoyed. But you know, the Monks trilogy fizzled out into nothing. This episode was as dull as dishwater for me. It just, you know, this second half of Series 10 feels very much like the Moff's taking his eye off the ball a bit, because there's been some great potential in there. The Monks trilogy could and should have been fantastic.
Yes.
And it really wasn't, you know. It just feels like it's, like all the good stuff was at the start. And I'll tell you, this final needs to deliver, because otherwise the second half of the series is nowhere near as good as the first half. Yeah,
I agree with you. And you know, there's an argument to say that, you know, should the Monks trilogy have taken up that much of the series? You know,
especially as Capaldi's last. I think that's what people keep thinking. They're like, you know, that's 3 episodes of Capaldi that we won't get back. You know what I mean? It's like, I think that adds to it.
Yeah, it's that could have been a 2-parter easily, that Monks trilogy, and then we could have had another great episode where straight after the Monks trilogy, maybe we go back to university for a bit, you know, and we do that stuff. I don't know. It's just it's easy for us to sit here and say, oh, it should have been this way and they should have done that. But I guess when you're working on the show, it's quite difficult to do that, and you know, you can't please everybody. You just have to go with your gut. I mean, that's one thing actually that we will say about the Moff. He does go with his gut, doesn't he?
Yeah.
You know, even if like you've got a million fans screaming at you saying, you know, enough is enough, he's still just defiant to the end. He's still like, no, this is what I feel. This is what I believe. We're going to do it this way. And,
no, he does. I mean, I do respect the Moff. He does, like you said, he does what he wants to do, and that's it. And that's what he does. But yeah, I don't know. I just felt this series was really rocking and rolling, and now it's as if like they, you know, it just seems to have, I don't know, drifted a bit. Yeah,
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
And also, with this episode, like I said earlier, I feel like we've gone back to some of the Matt Smith era, where some of the Moth episodes that he wrote for Matt Smith were quite crap, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But because Matt Smith's performance was so good, he carried the episode. And then you end up giving so when we've reviewed some of the Matt Smith episodes, we've said the story was pretty rubbish. It wasn't that great, but we can't really take marks off. If anything, we'll put marks on because Matt Smith just carried it and he was just amazing to watch.
Yeah,
and I
that's
feel
true
like,
of a lot of his.
Yeah, and I feel like this is a classic example of that where the story's been mediocre, not brilliant. It's watchable, but it's not great. However, Capaldi's performance was just amazing. And it's just, made it more watchable and carried it.
I will say Capaldi was excellent in this. As always, he's really, really good. He's been very good this whole series, and he was good in this. And I loved, as I said earlier, the interaction with Nardal and everything I thought was great. So, yeah, I suppose if anything, he did carry the episode, but it wasn't enough to stop me, looking at the clock and looking at my phone, if you know what I mean. I think because I knew it was historical as well, and we've got, such an acclaimed writer as Rona Monroe, maybe, my expectations were expecting something else. But I don't know a lot about, I'm not going to lie, I don't know a lot about history, but a lot of people are saying that it's also incredibly inaccurate in terms of its facts and stuff like that. So if that's true, I mean, I don't really know. I didn't sit there thinking, oh, that's wrong, that never happened, because I just don't know. Yeah. But a lot of people are saying it was very factually incorrect, which is a shame, because when Doctor Who started, part of the show was to educate children, and I was hoping that maybe they were going to do a bit of I assumed that's where we were going with this episode, being a sort of historical, but obviously not, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. But, I mean, I don't know. I don't know enough about it to really comment. As I said, I didn't sit there sort of marking off all the errors, but apparently there were quite a lot. But the other thing was there was no threat really from that monster thing, although it actually looked fairly decent, I thought. Did you think?
The monster thing.
The light thing looked okay.
Yeah. Do you know what?
Whatever it was, the beast.
Yeah, I wasn't too crazy about the beast, I'll be honest with you.
I mean, I didn't feel any threat from it though. There was, I never thought, God, look out, it's coming. The other thing. It didn't have any sort of threat to the episode, which is something Den of Geek picked up on their sort of initial review. There was like, there is no threat to this episode at all. Which it could have, that could have helped ramp it up a bit. But no, I don't know. I thought the beast looked okay when it was on screen. It wasn't in it very much, was it?
No, that's the other thing. I mean, again, it's another thing with this episode where you could have gone one way or the other, because in some Who episodes, when you don't have much of the threat of the monster revealed, it does play on your mind a little bit more, and you do think, what if you only show it from a distance and keep it at arm's reach, then you allow your mind to create the fear and the threat and what it might look like in detail.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, you think, well, if we can't see what the threat is, then it's not much of a threat. And they did keep it quite, I'm not sure what the budget was like on this one, but they did keep it quite loose in its details, because they only ever showed it either at a distance or in the dark. And the blue light things that came out of the tentacle things that came out of its mouth, I thought that was quite good. They did that quite well. But I thought the design of the creature was quite lazy, to be honest. I think that's something that we've seen in TV and film over and over again, like the big dog lizardy.
Yeah, I was going to say lizard
thing. We've seen that so many times. They could have done something a bit different with that, but yeah, I think I agree with you, mate. I just think the threat wasn't there enough. We had that looming sort of danger of something being outside, which is quite good.
Yeah,
with everybody sort of barricaded in and quite scared to go outside. That was pretty good, although it did jar a little bit with the Romans' attitude towards it. So at times they were very much, well, let's just get out there and get it. But yet they were happy to sort of barricade inside and not do anything. And
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So again, it just sort of fizzled a bit, didn't it?
It did fizzle a little bit. I mean, we're going down that road, aren't we? Where we're going to bash it till we get to our score. Let's talk about some good stuff, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, because you said you enjoyed it a bit more than me, and I'll be honest with you, I've got very little, if next to none, positives written down on my pad. So tell me a bit about what you liked about it, what you thought was good.
So I really liked the idea of the Doctor being trapped in another portal, and that time difference where he's in it for just a few seconds, and then and then back in our quote unquote world, he's been gone for days.
Yeah,
so
I liked that.
I like that aspect. I just wished they'd played more into it. That's what I was hoping for. I was hoping that we'd have maybe 5 minutes of the Doctor more in the portal, and then when he's come out, we've had a bit more progression with what's happened outside. Because the only thing that changed really was just Nardole around the campfire telling stories, which is quite fun. I like that. It was really funny. It was really, really nice moment for Nardole. And that's what I said earlier. He had a great episode, I feel.
He did. He had some great lines. He said something about death by Scotland or something, didn't he? And there was all that stuff about second class at the beginning and stuff. I think he had some lovely lines this week. I will say that.
Yeah. And it's a lot of people have warmed to him, I think, because I think there were still some initial feelings of, oh, crikey, it's just Matt Lucas doing his, comedy one-liner rubbish. But I do feel like he's grown into that character really well. And
I really like him.
Yeah. So, I like that aspect of it. I just wish they'd explored it a little bit more. I also like the fact that at the beginning, anyway, it felt like it was going to be a good historical.
Yeah.
I felt like we were going to have a lot more, because the only thing we saw really was a handful of Romans, weren't we? I mean, I know it's the point because the Ninth Legion, they were just a small band of soldiers, but there was one scene where the Doctor and Nardole, they'd come up to like the crest of a hill and they overlooked like thousands of Roman camps and stuff like that, and it was all burning and stuff like that. And I thought, wow, there's like thousands of Romans involved. It's going to be quite a good historical story. But they left that there. They just left all that alone.
I think, like you said, it did feel like the sort of the budget episode of the series, which is fair enough. I guess they've got to have one where they, minimise the budget and save it for hopefully an amazing final. That's what I'm assuming. It was sort of like the low budget episode of the series. So, but I felt that as well. Yeah. I think that's probably why. Yeah.
And then the other thing that I enjoyed was this whole concept of, so I wasn't really a fan of the Roman side of things. I want to say that, I wasn't, wasn't into that. But I think the barbarian, the sort of group of younger people, the barbarians, I really like that concept that one of them is the guardian of the gate. And every sort of generation, because of the time difference, it feels like, one of them's just gone for a little, one of them's gone for a long time and they don't return. But in actual fact, in their mind, they're in there just for a few seconds, maybe, sort of keeping one of these creatures at bay. So I really like that aspect. But again, it wasn't explored too much. It was just this one character, wasn't it? This one girl, I've forgotten her name, the character name, but I think her name might have been Carr.
Oh, yeah, that's why the crows keep going. Isn't it? What did you think of that actually with the talking crows? Because I thought we were going somewhere with that, and it turned out just to be, it's just basically a little throw-in, so that if you hear a crow, it does sound like he's going. So
so let's talk about that.
That was the only point to the crows, really, wasn't it? Is that and I did love the line about the Doctor saying, the crows are angry, and Nardole's like, the crows are angry, and all that. I did really like that start, that bit of dialogue about all the crows and stuff. But it didn't go anywhere, did it? There wasn't anything else to the crows apart from that, really.
Well, that's what I'm not sure of. Because, because when we first see them, one of them is saying Doctor, isn't it?
Oh no, you're not thinking.
And I'm thinking, are they crows or are they ravens?
Oh no!
Come on,
no!
And I'm just like you. I thought to myself, I stayed off Twitter obviously while I was watching the episode.
Yeah.
When I was watching the episode, about 5 minutes in, when Nardole first sees one of the crows, it does say Doctor.
It did.
You know? And I thought, is the Moff is the Moff very subtly bringing back a bit of Clara here? Because then I thought, well, because that was my initial thought. Straight away, within a second, I thought, is this Clara? Are they crows or are they ravens? Whatever, we don't know. And then when the episode had finished, obviously I jumped on Twitter, see what the fan reaction was like. So many people saying, did you hear the crow shouting, Doctor? Did you hear, is it Clara? Is the Moff, so I assume that you don't think there's anything in that at all. You feel
well, I did. It's
right.
One of the things before I saw the episode, when we got the trailer last week, that's one thing I picked up on. I was like, why is that crow saying Doctor? Like, is the Moff, can he resist bringing back Clara for Capaldi's, exit? So I did think that. Now I'm not. Now I've watched the episode, I'm not so sure.
Okay.
I'm hoping it's just the Moff putting it in there as a little tease, thinking, thinking that we're gonna think it's Clara, but actually, it's not. I hope so. I hope it's not Clara, but I did think that. I don't know. I hope it's the Moff having one of his little in jokes that he likes to put in there. That's what I'm hoping, anyway.
I hope that doesn't go any further.
Yeah, we don't want to see that diner landing, anywhere soon.
Well, there is the possibility that it depends on how the Moff views the end of his time. Or actually how he viewed it, because I assume that everything's been written and done now. There's no going back. But when Russell T Davies left, I remember watching the special features on the Series 4 specials and an interview with him, and he was saying that the reason why he had the Doctor go back and visit companions at the very end and stuff is because he wanted to close off his circle, if you like, of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
So it brings everything round and closes it off nicely. If the Moff is thinking the same way, then that might be a Clara-ism. Or we might see, more of that in the next couple of episodes. I'm not sure, but
let's put it this way. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm hoping not, but I wouldn't. If it happened, I would just be like, there we go. So, but fingers crossed it's not.
Yeah.
Talking to Twitter, though, when I went online to look at the reaction, most, I would say 90% of what I saw wasn't talking about this episode. It was just all about the Next Time trailer, which kind of, I thought, said it all, really.
Said it all, yeah.
I was like, everyone's just talking about what's in the Next Time trailer. I don't see anybody actually talking about the episode itself. I think it was kind of just there, wasn't it? It was just it was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't very memorable, I guess. Yeah. But a lot of people felt, I think, yeah.
Do you know what it was? I think because there was no standout moment.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It just sort of plodded along. It wasn't even a fast-paced episode either. In terms of editing and pacing, it just sort of plodded along at a reasonable pace from start to finish. Even some of the action scenes where they were being chased by the monster, even that didn't sort of bring your heart rate up, at all, really. It was more of a... I think it was quite a predictable episode as well. I think, you assume that X amount of Romans or barbarians would be picked off by the monster, but inevitably the Doctor would save the day. There was a moment where we thought the Doctor was going to go in the portal.
I was just going to ask you about that, because, what did you think about that? Because I was thinking all the way through that, well, he's not going to do that because we've got to have to. But I don't know. What did you think of that scene, that he was prepared to plonk himself down on another planet so easily? On another thing so easily, guarding it. Yeah.
I don't know, really. I think it was a little bit. I think they were trying. I think what Rona Munro was trying to get across there was, regardless of how little or how large the threat might be to the planet, the Doctor's willing to do whatever it takes to save the planet. Whether it's just a bunch of kids, being eaten by a lizard dog, or whether it's like huge Dalek invasion. It doesn't matter. The Doctor's willing to sacrifice whatever to save the planet. I think that's what they were trying to get across. But as an audience, though, it's quite difficult to get on board with that, because I'm not sure about you, and maybe some of our listeners might agree or disagree, but I didn't really feel a connection to the characters. I didn't really feel anything for them.
No,
so
same.
As an audience, it's quite difficult to relate with the Doctor in doing that, because we feel quite, meh, about the characters. So
Yeah.
If we were really connected with them, and if it was written in a way where the characters, we really felt for them, by the end of the episode, if the Doctor's willing to sacrifice that time to do that, then we could probably say, yeah, that was a great moment. But because of that lack of connection and relatability and all that stuff, it just didn't feel like it fit in with, the Doctor's MO.
That's what I thought. I was just thinking, clearly there we could see what's going to happen. So it wasn't. It was a bit like the fact there was no threat in the episode. It almost seemed pointless because as a viewer, we know he's not going to do it, and we can see where the story's going. So it was just. I was kind of just sat there thinking, I'll just move aside and let him get in there, and let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. Also, Bill has got to stop falling through holes. She did it last week. She did it again this week. She's got to. She needs to look down more. I think
she does. Yeah.
Does our Bill? Can I just quickly say before we sort of wrap this up, I was hoping we would get an answer for why the TARDIS disappeared last week, because I remember saying in our review, I hope they don't just leave that as a plot device that the TARDIS went back and Missy was out. We didn't get an answer this week. And I get the feeling it's just been forgotten, and I'm a little bit annoyed by that. I was thinking, okay, I was hoping, because it wouldn't take much just to write in a few lines just to explain why that happened.
Yeah.
But I was kind of expecting that at the beginning, wasn't you? Something about I don't know, anything. Missy could have said anything. Oh, didn't you realise you'd, left this out the TARDIS, you silly, so and so to the Doctor. It could so easily be explained, but now it's just going to be, unless they explain it next week, which I don't think they will. Now it's just going to be a plot device, isn't it? That the TARDIS left Mars to go.
Yeah.
Figure out. So I was a bit annoyed that we didn't start with the explanation for that. Yeah, because it's just a plot hole now.
It is. Yeah, it's just one of those, unanswered Moff things, isn't it?
Yeah. What was the thing that you said you thought Moffat, you said you didn't think he'd had his fingers in the pie in this episode, apart from one bit. What was that then?
Oh, the Clara.
Possibly. Oh, the crow.
The crow.
Ah, the raven. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I think for the most part he left Rona to it. Though I couldn't really see many other big Moffat clangers in there, really.
No.
Yeah. It was nothing else at all that you liked about this. It was pretty poor.
No, I'm
afraid
not. I haven't got any positives really, apart from Nardal. He's my only positive for the episode. I just liked his scenes with Capaldi. I did like Missy I do like the little scenes with Missy in as well. Just because I'm intrigued where we're going with it. And earlier when I was saying about Series 10, it kind of was rocking and rolling, and then it fizzled out in the middle. I also apply that to the Vault, because that was just. Again, it feels like a real underwhelming thing now, the Vault. And it was such an exciting thing at the start. But, we've sort of forgotten all about it. It's just been, brushed aside, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, Missy was in the Vault. We can forget that. And it was such a big thing at the beginning. And, yeah, that's something else I just feel has just fizzled out this second half of the series, the whole Vault thing. Because, Nardal bangs on about it still. He's like, Doctor the Vault. But I don't think viewers really care about the Vault anymore.
No, let's talk about Missy actually.
Yeah,
because those last few scenes with her in it, I think they're still playing the "is she, isn't she?" evil card. She's doing the crying game pretty well, and she's doing the remorseful thing, and you can tell that. And the Doctor's still very much, she's desperate to have some kind of reconciliation with the Doctor, and he's very much still. I'm not sure yet if you can be trusted. That's the vibe I'm getting anyway, because she sort of puts her hands on his and he steps away, pulls back, and he's still not 100% sure. So that's one thing that I do like at the minute. That's kind of a nice subtle build up. I think we should get answered next week, but definitely the week after. This week, or definitely the week after. Is this a big game that Miss is playing? Or is she genuinely? I don't think so. I don't think she's genuine with this, because I think that it's one of the staples of Who. And any of our listeners that are like classic Who, if you go back through the classic years, there's always that Doctor and Master battle, if you like. They always come back to sort of face off against each other. And I think if the Moff just wrote that off and said, no, the Master's a good character now, I'm not sure. I think that'd be like changing the TARDIS to red or something. I'm not sure.
No, I love it actually because it's yeah, I agree with you. I don't know. I'm not convinced by it. It reminds me of remember the Sea Devils when the Master's in his little prison and the Doctor keeps going to visit him and he's just sat there reading his book and he's like, I'm transformed character Doctor. It kind of I love it because it does remind me of that Doctor Master relationship where there is a friendship there, but they're two sides of the coin, and I do really like that. I love the fact that they've brought that to the to the new series. So yeah, I am enjoying it. I'm like you though. I'm not convinced. No, I'm not convinced. But I'm loving the fact that we don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that. It's one of the better things. I think it's a better build up than the Vault was anyway. Like you said, the Vault was such a massive thing.
It was just like oh
yeah, when it kicked off, it was like, oh my god.
They may as well have had him go in there and it be an ice cream shop or a fridge.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of a letdown, was the Vault. But anyway.
So we'll see. I mean, I keep saying next week. This weekend's episode looks very missified. So be interesting to see how she gets on with the Doctor's challenges, it looks like.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Is there anything else you want to say, mate, about this one? But actually, before we move on, I want to say that I thought the Roman soldiers were very poor in terms of performance and acting.
Yeah, I didn't think they were great.
I thought they were terrible, in fact. I wasn't too fussed with the barbarian kids. I thought they were okay. And the young lass that played the leader, Carr, the guardian of the gate, I thought she was... Yeah, I thought she did really well, actually. I quite liked her performance.
She was all right, yeah.
But yeah, the Romans, I couldn't get over how bad they were. Crikey.
Especially scared acting. Yeah, there was a bit... Yeah, it was a bit poor.
Yeah.
I will agree with that. Yeah, sorry.
And again, another week where Murray Gold sort of took a back seat with his stuff. No real themes, nothing stand out.
That was what I was just about to ask you, because a lot of people said they thought Murray's score was a bit crap this week. And I must admit, I didn't think it suited the episode. It was because he was doing the sort of twangy guitar, which we get in normally when you're in a desert, sort of a bit more like Town Called Mercy sort of soundtrack. And I was thinking it didn't really fit the episode for me.
Right.
So it wasn't bad. Nothing wrong with it. But yeah, I wasn't blown away by Murray's score this week either.
No.
I'm sorry to say. Sorry to be Mr. Negative this week. But yeah, I did wonder if you felt the same, because we do both love Murray, but wasn't feeling it this week.
Yeah. I'm on board with that, mate.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything you want to mention, though, before we get on to our scores?
No, mate. That's it.
It's me to go first.
Yay.
And like I said originally, I think it really is middle of the road. Yeah. So I'm going to give it a 5. Snap.
Although you enjoyed it more than me, so I should probably give it a 4.
I thought you were going to go a 3 or a 4, mate, for this one.
I'm going to go for. Oh no, I'll stick with what I wrote. I wrote 5 because I felt the same. I know you enjoyed it more, but I felt the same. It was just a very middle of the road. It wasn't bad like In the Forest of the Night bad or Sleep No More bad. So that's why I've gone with a 5. It was just, yeah, you summed it up perfectly. It's just middle of the road for me. It's just there. When I buy the box set, it won't be the one that I jump to put on. But it's not bad. It's not good for me either. So
yeah,
5.
I read you. What did our beautiful listeners think?
Wow.
Let's kick off with an audio clip. This is Sammy Satine.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. From Julius Caesar by William Shakespeare. G'day, Gary and Adam, Sammy Satine here. So, The Eaters of Light. Finally, a classic series writer has written for the modern series. Go, Runner Munro. Please come back and write us another story sometime. I'm intrigued as to where we're going with Missy and absolutely terrified it will fall flat. Please, Stephen Moffat, don't let us down. Please. So, Missy, doing her best Doctor impression, her previous self and the Mondasian Cybermen next week. Oh, holy hell. Anyway, I give this episode a 7 out of 10. See ya.
Cheers, Sammy.
Holy hell.
Yeah, I do share her fears for the final, though. Please let it be good.
Yeah. Over on Twitter, Davros1736 said, Eaters of Light had the feel of an old classic Pertwee episode to me.
Oh, yeah.
Found the story really good. The creature was a bit of a letdown, but overall, an enjoyable episode. The end scenes with Missy were a lift for me. So 7. He says 7 to an 8. I think he's a bit undecided.
Okay.
Darren, Cult Dissection, said, enjoyed it. A complete story. It had a plot. It had an ending. It wasn't convoluted. And it left me smiling every time I heard the crow say car. Yeah. Let's have a look. Anything else on Twitter? No. I should have had this prepared earlier.
No.
Here we go. The Primeval podcast. And I have to give a shout out to these guys because they gave us a very nice big shout out earlier in the week or end of last week, whenever it was. So thank you very much, guys. The Primeval podcast said a great original looking monster, strong characters, a strong script, and overall a great episode. 8.5.
Ooh.
Okay.
Cheers, guys.
Mr. Dalek Emperor says, easily one of the best episodes of Series 10 yet.
Oh, now don't be silly.
Finally, a story that feels complete and isn't full of Moffat cop-outs.
Wow. Okay.
Interesting, guys. That's cool. Another audio clip. This is our newcomer to audio. This is Martin Arnold.
Hello. I loved that episode. I thought Eaters of Light was a really, really good episode. I think some of the people who I see being critical of it are perhaps let down because the title seemed to suggest something a bit more profound than what we got. But what we got was, I think, a really solid story. The thing with the crows was a bit silly, but it was quite nice. I thought that worked quite well. Not quite sure how the TARDIS managed to get etched on that stone, but that we can overlook these sorts of things, I think. It was a great episode. I thought 12 was written brilliantly in that episode. What can I say? It was excellent stuff. I don't need to say anymore. I'm looking forward to next week. Next week looks even better. We all know why, so I'll leave it there. Thanks very much.
Cheers, Martin.
Thank you, Martin. Hopefully you haven't switched off this review in disgust. Our thoughts.
Yeah, and when I say Martin's a newcomer, I don't mean brand new. He did send in audio last week. I mean, like he's, generally new.
Yeah.
So it's great that he's sending in audio stuff. Thank you very much. Let's do another one, actually. Let's do Joe Sweeney.
The Eaters of Light, I would say, is not a bad story, but I do find that it is the weakest episode of the series overall and is a little bit underwhelming. But I do like that the story is set in Scotland because Scotland is known to Doctor Who in the past. So it is quite a nice touch. And the only thing that got me entertained from the story was Peter Capaldi, because I thought his performance was great. And Bill wasn't too bad, but her dialogue about her liking women is starting to be a little bit old hat and starting to get boring. But other than that, I really like her character. And there was a little bit of good bits that I liked from the story, but the overall problem of the story itself is just a pacing. It's just so slow, and there just wasn't a lot going on, and the aliens were quite underused. We didn't get to see more of them, and the scene between Doctor and Missy, I would say, is intriguing. And also the other best bits I like from this episode was seeing next time trailer of the finale. So overall, not a bad episode, but I'll give it a score of a 4 out of 10.
A 4?
A 4 from Joe. I thought he was going to go a little bit higher, didn't you?
Yeah. Yep. Over on Facebook.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. Over on Facebook, Callum MacArthur says The Eaters of Light is just amazing. Loving Nardole. I'd never thought I'd say that. I just love how it's set in Aberdeen. The main Scottish girl was a good character. So was the other supporting cast. Pearl is brilliant once again. Really liking Bill. Capaldi is just amazing. I would give this story 8 out of 10.
Wow. Cheers, Callum.
Leslie Shergold says, a solid episode this week in which not an awful lot happens at all, but the character work pulls the episode through. I think I agree with that, Leslie. Nardole's various comic asides being the highlight. Not an awful lot for my nephews to get hold of this week, unless you count the spaceships and Cybermen in the next time trailer. Mm-hmm. Or or Jacob's idea that we should all put our dressing gowns on, like Nardole did.
Yay.
Sir Jake of the Burt Whistle says, I really like this episode. I don't understand all the hate it's getting. I thought the Eater of Light was an interesting monster. I do think it was a bit slow here and there, but other than that, it was excellent. I want more classic writers to write for Doctor Who. As always, Nardole was excellent. Missy felt a bit odd in this episode. There was one thing that annoyed me about this episode. That guy who played Car's brother. The guy at the end telling the crow to remember Car. He's been in something and I can't remember. Anyway, he gives it 8.9. 8.9, very specific.
Very. Cheers, Sir Jake.
Before we do our last few on Facebook, this is our last audio clip. It is Owen Daly.
Hello, Gary and Adam. Hope you're both well and enjoying the show this week. So, Eaters of Light. I really enjoyed this one. I thought the guest cast in this were superb for young adult actors. Sometimes it can be a little bit bad inexperienced, but this lot, they were all brilliant. Especially the Roman guy and Kra was her name, or the main Celtic woman. Yeah, I thought they were all brilliant. I thought Capaldi was probably written the best in this episode out of the last 2 seasons. I thought he really balanced the darker side of this Doctor, the more rude side, as well as having the playful side. Nardole was great in the story. I thought it was a bit silly with him in his dressing gown, but I just love him now. I'm really sad that I hated him at the start, because I really love Nardole now. Good old Nardy. And also the Eater of Light itself, I thought it was a good monster. It looked better when you didn't see it as much, as the CGI wasn't brilliant, but it was good in the dark, and the conclusion to the episode was kind of simple but nice. So overall, I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. Really enjoyed it. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Nice one, Owen.
Cheers, Owen. I had a feeling Owen would like it. I don't know why, but yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, guys, for your audio clips. We're going to shoot back over to Facebook. So Lewis Palmer says, a strange one for me. I liked it at points, but at others I was not enjoying myself. It gets worse the more I think about it. It was a very tedious episode to watch, and I kept waiting for the pace to pick up. The crow idea was kind of nice, but a tad silly. I'm getting very tired of Bill explaining her sexuality to people every other week. The scene itself was great, but the amount of times we've seen it in the series is staggering. Not a huge bugbear, but one that I've begun to notice. Also, there were many comparisons to Ghostbusters.
Was there?
Was there?
Trying to think now. Ghostbusters. I don't know. Me and Lewis normally agree on a lot of stuff. I'll have to.
Other than not crossing the streams. Not sure. Anyway, Lewis gives it a 5.5.
Out of 10.
Out of 10, yeah. Rob Kernick says, unfortunately, a mediocre Doctor Who episode. The acting was really great this week, but the story was so lackluster. Very slow, methodical episode that got me a little confused at times. This feels like the forgettable episode of Series 10, in my opinion. Wasn't really surprised, though, considering the series finale is next week. He gives it a 5 as well.
Okay.
Jeff Waddle says, personal wish list. Scottish setting, Scottish history. Alien stalking the land. Throwing Roman soldiers, good to go. And yet somehow, this was just dull. I couldn't care less about any of the characters. The Doctor willing to sacrifice himself over such a small threat felt completely out of place. Yeah. And what the hell was the Talking Crows about? Made the error of being not awful, not great, but completely average. Bill has studied the Ninth Legion and doesn't know the Romans liked men and women.
Yeah.
She has no interest in Romans before. We're in danger here of straying into the god-awful Clara thing of being whatever the episode needs her to be.
Well, yes.
Oh,
yes,
dear.
I think that as well.
Yeah, he gives it a 3 out of 10 and finishes with, I won't watch this again. Jeff is miffed at this.
Yeah, I got to agree with a lot of that, though. Yeah.
Joseph Howarth says, Rona Munro, the writer who wrote Survival, the last story of the classic series, and deciding to take another whack at this time for the 12th Doctor. Can you imagine him off? Rona, you got to take another whack at this. Part of me is thinking I shouldn't have rewatched Survival rather than the part of me is thinking I should have rewatched Survival rather than the episode I was meant to be reviewing. I won't lie to you guys, it was sluggish, tedious, and not a whole lot happened with the episode. There are a few moments that made me laugh. It was mainly from the Doctor and Nardole, And I honestly think the bits with Missy at the end were a lot more interesting than the actual story. He gives it a 5.
Yeah.
Martin Vincent of the Bad Wolf podcast, YouTube, Twitterage, all that stuff, says, very dull. I wanted to like it. I really did. I don't particularly dislike it. It just didn't do anything for me. And lastly, Jason Thayer says, I thought it was pretty good, but a bit slow. 7 out of 10. Yeah. Thank you, guys. That's the official Facebook page. Anything over on the Geeks Handbag stuff?
Yeah. Bit like yours, quite mixed, actually. So Stephen Hardy says it's the weakest of the Capaldi era. He didn't enjoy it, and he sent me a lovely long list of all the inaccuracies in the episode, which I actually genuinely enjoyed reading. Simon Clark, he liked it, but as he's worried about the viewing figures and that the BBC are going to axe Doctor Who, don't worry, we've got another 5-year renewal, Simon.
Yeah.
Malcolm Patterson said maximum yawn, another dull episode, so not a fan. Kevin McCullen loved it. He gives it 10 out of 10.
Whoa.
Says it's a nice self-contained story of absolutely sparkling dialogue, fine direction and brilliant acting. Well, I don't know about the brilliant acting, but anyway, glad you enjoyed it, Kevin. Dean Jones just says it was all right. He wasn't that impressed. He gives it a 6 out of 10. Jamie Ackerley loved it because it was a nice, simple story. Reminded him of the 80s. Charlie Turner says pretty good, but not one of his favourites. He gives it 7 out of 10. Matt Vernon liked it, simple but good. Ben Tabber says, give us a kiss. I think he's referring to the Next Time trailer rather than to me.
Yep.
And Mark Daniel Mooney says a good solid episode, and Rob McClory gives it a 5 out of 10. So a few positive ones there. I'm just going to quickly go to my lovely little Twitter poll because I love doing this every week. Not so much excellence this week on the poll because they've been getting quite high scores up to now. So this one got 10% said it was poor, 22% average, 39% said it was good, and 29% said it was excellent. So a lot of people did enjoy it, didn't they? We've had a few 10 out of 10s there, which really, really surprises me because I would never put this up there as being that high, but people did enjoy it. So I'm quite surprised. I'll be honest with you. One thing I'm really shocked about is that I couldn't imagine this episode holding the attention of anybody of a young age. I just thought no kid or teenager is going to sit through this. But some of the comments, I mean, some of our listeners are of that age and they clearly enjoyed it. So that really surprises me, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad thing, I suppose. Yeah.
It's good though. I think.
Yeah.
It's always not strange, but it's like when we have a very diverse mix of thoughts and feelings. It's one of those episodes, isn't it, where do we class this one as a Marmite episode? Is it a bit Marmite?
I think it is, because we got a lot of positivity there and a lot of negativity. I guess it is a Marmite one, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Rightio, next week, our show next week is reviewing this week's TV show.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the next episode that we're going to review?
Oh, well, it's got a god-awful title, isn't it? What's it called? World Enough and Not Enough World. What is it called?
World Enough and Time.
And Time. Yeah. World Enough and Time.
Yes.
Is that you did explain this to me? So isn't that a thing?
World Enough and Time.
Or am I thinking? Because I remember saying to someone, "What an awful title," and they were like, "Well, it's because blah blah blah," and I thought it was you, but perhaps it wasn't. I don't know. Anyway, World Enough and Time next week. Part of the. So we've only got 2 episodes left. Part of the final, and we all know who's in it. We all know who's coming. We won't say it, but we all know.
Yeah,
it's going to be.
There is a Star Trek episode, isn't there, called World Enough and Time?
Is there?
There is.
Okay. World Enough and Time. It doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't even make sense as a title to me. But anyway, yes, I'm sure somebody out there knows.
Yes. So we're going to do that next week. And yes, it was 10. It's nearly up. It's just 2 left to go. I can't believe how fast it's gone.
I know.
It's crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
Let's hope it's good though. I don't want to be wearing I've borrowed Mark Atkinson's negative T-shirt from Prog 2 podcast. I hopefully won't be wearing it next week. I want to be wearing a positive
hopefully
T-shirt. Yeah, hopefully.
Okay. So thank you very much, guys. And I think we're going to do there for 147.
Yeah.
Thank Thank you so much, guys, for sticking with us and listening to 147. Nearly at the 150.
Oh, yeah.
Nearly
there.
Yeah, we had a jam-packed show. Plenty of news and merch. Whingy old Dalek. Complaining that the tray's heavy.
You remember in the Cushing movie where the Dalek spins round madly and falls down the bomb chute? I always picture that.
Stupid Dalek. Whinging about everything. Let us know if you guys, as usual, let us know if you guys pick up any of the merch that we talk about, because it'd be nice to see sort of in your hand or on the shelf photos.
Can't wait to do an unboxing of them titles. Titans,
yeah.
I can't wait to do that.
Because it's one thing looking at the promotional images that they send through, because they're all light, the lighting is great and, everything's staged and nice, but it's nice to see some merch that's actually in someone's hand or on the shelf, so you can see. So if any of our listeners do pick up the merch that we talk about, just take a photo and put it on Twitter for us or whatever.
Visions of opening 10 boxes and 8 of them being Nardole duplicates. just a whole shelf of Nardole, 100 quid's worth.
Do you know what? That's the issue with Titans, is that you can go through a handful of them before you get the one you want.
Get a good one, yeah. I know.
Anyways, go to our website, www.bigblueboxpodcast.co.uk. You can listen to all of our episodes on there. Plus, you can link off to all of our social stuff. And there's also links to go off and subscribe to us in whatever podcast app you listen to. And we're now listed on Google Play Podcasts, which is great news. So, another place to check us out and subscribe. And if you're an iTunes listener, if you could shoot us a review, that would be fab. It really helps.
Getting about, isn't we?
Remember to check out Adam's channel, The Geek's Handbag.
Oh, yes, do.
Check out The Geek's Handbag on YouTube.
Show it some love.
And Facebook and Twitter. Go and give him a sub and check out all of his videos. Great stuff. Right, next week, World Enough and Time. Looking forward to that one, to see what the hell's going on there. Until then, my name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
And remember...